Recently, I was on a podcast with the Obsidian Media Network. Shout out to the brother. And we consistently talk about black relationships with, in the community, black men in particular. He brings out an article that was published May 30th, 2017 by a group called the Journal of Blacks in Higher Education. And they write an article called How Higher Education Impacts the Likelihood of Interracial Marriage, right? This is a pretty interesting article. In this article, it states that 30% of educated or college graduate African American men tend to marry outside of their race. Now, that is interesting. 30%. Now, I want to talk about this because I want to dispel some of the more prominent talking points in the manosphere when it comes to, relationships inside the culture, as far as, well, black men are not marrying black women because black women are not feminine enough. Black women are a little bit more mean. Black women have children. Black women are more obese. Those are regular talking points that I know that might be relevant to some parts of the discussion. But for this topic, I'm not going to use those, right? I want to know why it is that African American men, outside of those typical reasons, that have education, why are they married interracially? I'm going to come across this argument, okay? Somebody's going to say, well, it's easy to know why. Black men who are educated that marry outside of their race, those women are just marrying them because they want money. You hear this all the time. Well, white women will only deal with you because you want money. Asian women will deal with you because you only have money. You have education, you have resources, so that's why they're marrying, right? Well, here's what I want to know. If that is the case, because I know I'm going to hear that argument, what do the numbers look like for black men without an education? And see, I want to talk about something that's important, because what it says is 24% of black men marry someone who is not black. 15% of African Americans who graduate high school but have no college experience were involved in interracial marriage. That figure rises to 17% with some college but no degree. Now, in these last points of the 15% number and the 17% number, it includes both genders. But I'm going to assume that number is going to be higher for black men versus black women. And I'm going to come back to that because educated black women are only at 13%. Black men are at 30%. So I'm going to assume that if the article says higher education impacts the likelihood of interracial marriage and educated black women are at 13% and black men are at 30%, I'm assuming that the numbers of black women with no college are much lower and black women with some college are much lower. Black men are higher in every respect. This is just being numerate. Here's the key. Black men in America, and I hate to say this is not to be offensive, the key is they're more valued in marriage than black women, according to other races. That's just the key. Some people can make up excuses. Well, it's because black men are promoted more in sports. Black men are promoted in all the other things. Colorism. Listen, here's the key. Men in general hold the key to marriage. Not to having babies or whatever. Men hold that key, right? Black men are reserving their right to hold that key to marriage for now, at least for people who don't have college degrees, as much as 25%, a quarter of them. And for brothers that have education, 30%. Now we want to know why. Let's talk about this outside of the regular talking points, okay? People go to Expedia.com. People go to Orbitz.com. People go to many different places, Groupon, internet deals. People are looking for the best deal in shopping for mates, all right? That's what this comes down to. It comes down to competition, okay? This is the case. If you're a person, and I'm a person that has very good credit, I'm going to shop for a car. I have a 750 credit score, assuming. Hey, guess what? I have 750 credit score. I have a $15,000 down payment. I'm going to be able to shop for the best deal, right? This doesn't have much to do with black women at all, as much as it has to do with black men are just on the rise. This is what the article is showing. See, a lot of times we give too much credibility to what black women are doing or their attitudes or what they're not doing. Let us focus on what black men are doing. Black men are on an individual level improving. They are able to go into the car dealership with more to offer and say, okay, I want to be able to get this car. Now, some people are going to say, well, man, I see black men with unattractive white women. I see black men with unattractive Asian women. Here's the thing. Everybody at the dealership can't afford the best car. All right. Some people can only afford a Chevrolet Cavalier. Okay. Not everybody can afford the Corvette. But with whatever budget that they have, black men are putting their bids out there and people are accepting them that are not black. Just goes to show you that black men are winning the mating market war. They are. Because if the case wasn't that, black women only have a 13% interracial marriage. For whatever reason it is, they are not being able to marry outside of their race that black men are. And it just goes to show that for that kind of those talking points like, oh, well, black men don't want to get married. Black men are not serious about having families, this and so forth. What is this showing? Okay. This is showing that black men are going to school. They're being educated. Well, black men in general have more marriages than black women do, and we're 2 million less in the population. It does show that the competition for African American men that are progressive is on the rise. Women are putting their bids in. And it also shows that a lot of women are more willing to take a better deal, right? And we talk about this. I have some friends who are in interracial relationships, and they talk about for their wives, they're doing this, they're doing that. And I'm like, damn, your wife does all of that. Now, she might not be the best looking. She might be good looking. But women are coming of other races, I'm thinking, to the table with whether there be more resources, whether there be more compassion, whether there be more whatever. Brothers are being able to shop on the market. That's what it comes down to, right? And what it also shows is that the value of these educated brothers is more outside of the black community with women than it is inside. That's what it's also showing, in my opinion. Because educated black men, you would think, because you have a lot of educated black women, well, why are those marriages not happening as much? It goes to show me that even for the best black women that are getting out of school, stuff like that, I'm going to say this. There is not as much as appreciation for these brothers. Okay? And you cannot build communities if you don't land these guys. All right? We always talk about Byron Allen and guys like Robert Smith. Hey, listen. The black community is to keep guys coming in to do stuff. You cannot lose 30% of your best people or men outside of Black America. You can't do that. And here's a challenge. That number should be coming down. But we're seeing it as going up. Now, secondarily, for the blue collar or entrepreneurial class, truck drivers, plumbers, guys like that, 1 out of 4, 25%, 24%, right? These numbers are also too high, which means that the eligible Black men that Black women want, you're missing the pie by 30%, and then the secondary guys who don't have the college education, and a lot of those guys are probably just as good as the brothers that have degrees. They have their own business. How are you missing at these group of brothers? For what reason? But you yourself at 13%, you're not nowhere close. So, you know, if the Black community wants to get its brain power and people that build, you can't lose 3 out of 10 men. Let's talk about white men. White men, how many of them are marrying outside their race? 12% of men and 10% of women. That's how the white community is still relevant. White folks ain't going out interracially marrying at higher percentages. That's Black people doing that, right? For whatever reason. You know, that's 10%. That got to come down for Black America. If you want to have if you don't want to have a Black community, you don't have to have one, right? But those are some things you got to look at. And the numbers don't lie. Okay? As Black men are getting more options, they are marrying out. And I'll say the way it's going now, you're probably going to see by the time 30 years, it might be 50%. Now, guys, what do you think about that? Why are your reasons why the numbers are so high, right? Go ahead and comment below. Thank you for you brothers subscribing to us on Patreon. We got 3 new Patreon subscribers at $5 a month supporting NegroManosphere.com. Make sure you go into the first comment, subscribe to us on Patreon, patreon.com/NegroManosphere. You probably want to know, why am I doing that? Support Black male media, right? NegroManosphere.com, the #1 website for Black men in America and the world. We have over 1,100 articles targeting Black male issues. We pay our writers from that Patreon. Supporting Black male media is the way to go, right? We must support our own content, our own people. This is the way that you can do it. So support Black male media. We're looking for 100 Patreon sponsors. We're at 97. We should be at 100 by the end of the year. I think we can do it in a month. Let's help take this to another level. In 2020, I want to be able to have the first Negro Manosphere all website that just has all the women from the diaspora, right? Brazil, Africa, Black America. We want to turn this thing into something great for brothers. So thank you for your support in advance. And as you know, the buffoonery remains the all-time high. I'm out.